So that's that's useful. And then, but the sad thing for me, one of the sad things for me with COVID going on, is that Jason and I both feel that our podcast works best when we can see each other, when we can play off of each other exactly in the moment, and we have audio equipment that captures, live audio. And to remove that, a number of rooms and a couple of, even though we both live in Los Angeles, to be in different houses we've not been able to work that out. And that makes me very sad that we haven't been able to get back to it, but we will get back to that, because I have found that, like, I've been so lucky to work with Jason as an actor on film and now in various audio formats. And it's really fun, to be able to go from one to the other. It keeps life interesting, and it's just such a blessing to be able to do, So I can't wait to get back to it, because it's just one of my joys, and we're trying to find a way to work it remotely, but it hasn't worked out yet. But we'll try. Keep trying.
Excellent. I don't think I've asked you this yet. Do you, or maybe I did ask, I didn't let you answer, maybe. On the novellas, do you have any more in the works, or that you're thinking about doing, or what would make a good novella? To put it in with your production there, what type of storyline and so forth would make a good novella? I think you maybe described some of that earlier, but if you could share with our listeners some ideas in that area.
Sure. Yeah. So basically, most of the novellas we've written, we've written 3 to date. There's actually one that I don't know if it'll ever see the light of day. It's mostly written, but there's some big flaws with the storyline with one of the characters, which has to do with reading, and I'm not thrilled with it. So I would need to find a different flaw for the character, or something for obstacle for the character that is better suited, or just feels stronger. That's one of the big things when you're creative and when you're writing stuff. It's like you try stuff out and you figure out, like, oh, no, I don't like that this person's scared of caterpillars. Let's make them scared of remote controls. You just try all sorts of weird things until something sticks. And but one of the reasons we've been kind of on hold with writing any more of the novellas is because we've been so busy with production. So, after the audiobooks happen, if the animated thing that I'm going to play around with doesn't come to fruition, or there's nothing that we can figure out to film during quarantine, then perhaps another audiobook will make an appearance. I wouldn't be shocked if we saw some more in the coming years, kind of during off time. But basically, it's been pretty busy. So basically, when we started doing the movies, analysis paralysis, it takes a lot of pre-production to get it going. Then you film the actual the movie. Then afterwards is the editing process, and basically I put together a giant assembly cut. And then I've been really lucky to work with my cousin Jack Ravina, who is an amazing filmmaker in his own right, and he also really excels in editing. And so he helped me edit. He edited Analysis Paralysis and Out of Body, and so basically you spend a lot of time on that. And so, and writing a book takes a lot of energy and a lot of time. So I could see another California comedy appearing if there's another movie that I really want to make and we just don't have the budget for it yet. Because I consider the California comedy novellas like future movies. They're future scripts. In fact, for one of them, and Kevin actually was a part of the table read, Fixing Frank, that book I did write a script for in the hopes that I could try to get funding, additional funding from outside sources to make it, because I think it would lend itself very well to screen.
Excellent. Well, listen, in the time that we have left here, I would like to summarize some things and go over, because we have a few minutes left, and I want to be sure we include anything. I want to get from each of you some other thoughts and things about where you are going to be. I think you've told us some of these, where you plan to be working here in the future, and what you want to be doing. And of course, the quarantine, the COVID-19 is a big question mark over so many things in our life now. But what do you think would be your future here in the next, let's say, in the next 6 months or a year or so, assuming COVID-19 is not delaying it or impacting it in the future?
Sure. So if COVID-19 were to vanish away, which we could be really lucky and hopeful for, or once the vaccine comes out and science takes care of it, the next project that I will be working on and spending most of my time on, and Kevin will be a part of as well, is Marriage of Inconvenience, which is a comedy series coming out. It's going to be a Deku original. Deku is a gay streaming site, if you haven't heard of it yet. It's up and coming, and it's fantastic. They have a lot of great stuff on it. And it's a 6-part series, kind of British style, 6 half-hour episodes. And it's basically an odd couple story where two guys, it's starring me and another friend of mine, David Allen Singletary, who end up in witness protection together, and we're total opposites. And we join a program that basically marries us together. And it's basically the story of the guys trying to figure out how to coexist when they don't connect on anything. And so that's going to be a major project that I'll be working on. The other thing is Out of Body will be coming out soon, and I would love to be touring around the country and promoting that. And so that's going to be, those are the big projects on the docket. And I'm actually currently writing and transforming a script that I wrote a while ago to include a main character who is deaf, and in the hopes of hiring a deaf actor to play that role, and continue to expand My Pet Hippo's diversity inclusiveness in the films. So that's kind of where I am.
Excellent.
For my part, definitely looking forward to having a place in Marriage of Inconvenience when it gets back and ramped up again, because the experience of being on one of Jason's sets is not something that I want to miss if I get the chance. So it's a wonderful experience, and so I want to do that, and I can't wait for that to get going again. Also, to get back to regular recording of our show together, because again, we just to check in and sort of put our friendship out there on blast a bit, but with topics and with discussion and with learning a little something, is something that I look forward to every week, and it's been really tough not to be able to do it. So yeah, those things, and other projects that I've got going on my own, because that's the life of an actor. You got to always have a couple of irons in the fire, but as soon as production is ramped up again, then we can get all that going. If it all just disappeared, we could hit the ground running right now.
And I want to, for those out there who are interested in The Bright Side with Kevin and Jason, our podcast, you can find it on the Apple Podcast or on Android Podcast, Google Podcast, Stitcher, or our website, the brightsidewithkevinandjason.com. And if you're looking for any books to read for the California Comedy Novellas, they're available on barnesandnoble.com, amazon.com, Google Play or Google Books, iBooks. And Analysis Paralysis is currently out on Deku. You can rent or download it on Amazon, iTunes, and Google Play.
Excellent. I was about to ask you to plug all those because I want to be sure our listeners could know where to find those at. So you've done that, and that's excellent. You mentioned a deaf actor. I don't have a deaf actor, but I know someone who is. I haven't talked to him recently. He is LGBT, and he's quite strikingly good looking, but he's legally blind, and he's an artist of all things. And so if you're looking for somebody in that area, he worked with us. He was the cover for one of the publications that we did a number of years ago, and he's sold his artwork. He's out of the Midwest, and I don't know where he's at right now. I haven't talked with him in several years, but I remember that because he was amazing for his artwork and being legally blind, and quite a story.
That's fantastic. Mm-hmm. I would love to learn who he is and check out his artwork and check him out.
Yes, and I will try to go back to one of my contacts there and see what his current status is. The story part of the reason it came back in mind because one of the young men that went with us on the tour to Santa Fe was quite interested in him at the time. I remember that, and that's how I met him. Because we were promoting our Santa Fe resort at that time. So, but great. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, listen, we're going to wrap up here, and I want to thank you both for being here today. We've had a great series run here, and hope we're going to maybe doing more of these in the future, and we'll find out.
Absolutely.
But, again, thank you both. I want to thank you. I thank our listeners and we hope you've enjoyed today's discussions. This has been Coastal Progressive and Rainbow Forum on Society Bites Radio, and I've been your host, Steve Ryan.